Hello guys, this is my first video on this channel and I can say that this is my first video ever since I've never done this. I hope that all of you lovers of philosophy and literature, you're gonna find this video, you're gonna watch it. I hope that you're gonna like it. I also hope that with time the audience will grow and alongside me on this journey, you're gonna enjoy it too. Today we're going to talk about the best books for a beginner to start with, at least in my opinion, from the books that I've read when I was a beginner. So let's get started. The first book that I'm going to talk about today is The Alchemist by Paulo, which I really think that this is the best book for a beginner to start with. I don't think that this was my first book, maybe like my second or third, because the first book that I started with was The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky, which is really not the book for a beginner, but I didn't know at that time because there was no one to tell me or to suggest me a book. That's why I'm doing this video for you. But after that book, I got this book, I read it and I really liked it. When I finished the book, I realized that this book can be read even by younger ones, like you can be 14, 15-year-old and still understand and read the book, which doesn't mean that it's not good for older. For example, if you're 20, 30, 40, doesn't matter, it's a great book to start with. Because of the writing style, it's really simple, and not only that it's easy to read, it's also like very short book, like 150 pages, which is great for a beginner because it's not only important for you the style to be simple, not complicated, the style of writing, but also to be short book, so you can concentrate and be interested in the book. The book follows the story of a young guy, young boy. He's a shepherd from Spain, and one day while tendering his sheep he falls asleep and he has this weird, interesting dream. He dreams about a buried treasure somewhere in Egypt. He doesn't know what the dream means, so he goes to a gypsy woman, which is a dream interpreter, and she tells him that he should go on the journey and try to find his treasure. And the interesting part is that when she tells him that, they make a deal. If he comes back with the treasure, he will give her a part of it. He listens to her and he goes on the journey. On this journey he has a lot of new experiences. He tries different things. He works for money so he can have money to travel. He meets a lot of new people, which helps him find his meaning in life. And this book has this idea that every person has a unique story. The book doesn't only teach us to dream, but also to follow our dream, to have the courage to follow our dreams. I'm not gonna go and tell you more because I don't want to spoil you the book, but it's really interesting and the plot twist is really crazy. I really liked it. So yeah, this is obviously my number one pick for a first book, and I really think that you should start with this book. I think you really enjoy it. The second book is Father Sergius by Tolstoy. I really love this book. Actually, it's not a book, it's a short story. Also has a very good plot twist, which you won't expect in the end. The story is about a young guy, Stepan Kasatsky, who is predicted to have a brilliant career and brilliant future under the service of Tsar Nicholas, or the Russian king. He's strong, he's beautiful, he's young, successful, and then he finds a good wife, which he falls in love with after. His whole life and all of his dreams are just working out for him. 1 month before the wedding with this beautiful lady, he resigns, he quits everything, breaks off his engagement, donates all of his estate to his sister and just go to the monastery to become a monk. And the whole city and everyone that knew him is just surprised. Why would anyone like Stepan Kasatsky do such a thing and go and be a monk in a monastery? But for him, for this guy, Stepan, not only that he wanted to do it, but he didn't see any other way to continue his life because he experiences a big moral offense, which I won't reveal now because I don't want to tell you the best part, one of the best parts of the book, but you better read it. In the following years, his life becomes harder. His life now is full of temptations. One evening, a woman comes to him, and by now, Stepan Kasatsky has his name as a monk, like Father Sergius. He lives alone in the woods. So one night, a woman comes to his home and tries to seduce him. And now he's faced with a temptation. And just because he thinks he didn't do good, he then leaves the monastery, trying somehow to atone for his sins. Then he's thinking, how can he make up for the sin that he's done? He's thinking about killing himself. So then God appears in his dream and tells him how and where to find his answer that he's searching for, and how he can make amends for his mistakes. After that, he's faced even with greater trials, which becomes a measure of his faith in God. Tolstoy with his story wants to show us that when a person abandons the world and goes to become a monk, it doesn't mean that he has no weaknesses now. No, he still has those fights inside of himself. This is also Tolstoy's critique about the church and spirituality. The interesting part is that Tolstoy didn't publish this book while he was alive. It was published 1 year after his death. He was writing this short story for 8 years, and books like War and Peace, which is 2,000 pages, took him 6 years, and this took him 8 years. So I think this book was really important to him. The point of the book is that you don't serve God just by abandoning everything and go living a simple life, just you and yourself and God. But you should be with the people and helping them. Stepan Kasatsky went to become a monk and did it because of pride. That was his problem. Not because he was humble or wanted to serve God. And then he realizes that and his life changes. And then he really serves God. I really recommend this book. The third book is The Old Man and the Sea by Hemingway. I just finished reading this book. I read it like a week ago, and it's a good book to start with and also a good book to get introduced to Hemingway's works. Hemingway as an author has this very unique and simple style of writing, but this book is not only simple, but it's very short. His style is very minimalistic. He only says the thing that need to be said. He doesn't over-explain things, which is great for beginners. The story starts with introducing the main character, which is the old man, who is a fisherman, and with him there's a young boy who used to help him and learn from him how to catch fish, but just because his father told him to go on another ship because the old man cannot catch any fish for some time, he abandons him. But he does love the old guy and he helps him with everything he can help. So in the beginning they have a conversation, they're talking about fishing, about baseball, so you get introduced to the old man, and it's mentioned that I think for 82 or 83 days straight he didn't catch any fish, but he needs it to survive because both of them are really poor. And when I say poor, I mean he sleeps on a bed of newspapers and his pillow is newspapers wrapped around with his pants. The main action of the book is the next day, so this old man goes to bed. He wakes up in the morning and he tries to catch a fish now, but he goes deeper into the open sea and he doesn't come back for a few days. And the people from his village, they don't know what's happening with the old guy. I'm not going to tell you what happens on his journey because that's the point of the story, but the message of this book is that you should never quit. It's also very inspiring, and the main idea, like the most popular saying by this book is a man can be destroyed but not defeated, which is very powerful and inspiring. It's maybe minimalistic and easy to read, but under the surface there's a deeper message. Fun fact is that Hemingway wrote this book in 8 weeks and he won the Nobel Prize for this book. It carries a powerful message and really inspiring story, and it's a good book for anyone that wants to start reading or just get back to reading. The next book I would recommend is The Stranger by Albert Camus. Man is the only creature that refuses to be what he is. This is the saying that defines absurdism as a philosophy. Absurdism is a philosophy that says humans seek meaning, they seek order, but the universe is indifferent and has no meaning. And that's the absurdity. The story begins with one of the most famous openings in literature history, and it is, "Today, mother died," or maybe yesterday, I don't know. Just this line immediately shows you that the main character sees the world differently from others, from other people. It shows you how indifferent he is to his surroundings, what's happening in his life. And one morning Meursault receives a letter which tells him that his mother, which is in the retirement home, has died. Not only that he receives the news coldly, but that same day he goes to the beach on a date with a girl and he doesn't care. After that, in the story, Marie wants to marry him and he accepts, but he doesn't even care. He approaches anything in his life with this cold indifference. And one day, without feeling any emotion, he murders a guy just because it was very hot that day and the sun was in his eyes. The trial for the murder actually turns into an accusation of his emotional indifference, not because he only killed the guy, but why he doesn't care. This is a masterpiece by Albert Camus, and maybe it's easy to read and it's a small book, but as I said, all of these other books has a deeper message. And I think when you gain more experience with reading, and you will want to come back to this book and read it again, and then maybe you'll have a different view of the book, but it's good for beginners, and I really recommend, maybe not as the first book, but one of the first books that you can read. Like after reading a few books, you can take this book and read it. I think you're gonna like it, especially if you love philosophy. This book makes you think about the meaning of life and whether it even has one. Still, I think it's an excellent book for beginners. The fifth book on this list is White Nights by Dostoevsky. Also a short story, not a book. I recently read this one also, and I loved it. I must say I loved it. If you want to get into Dostoevsky's works, like not only as a beginner in literature, but if you want to like start reading Dostoevsky, I really recommend this story because it's short, but you can get introduced to his psychological realism and his style of writing, and it's like 70 pages, which will help you be focused on the book. Then you can start reading some other works by him, like Crime and Punishment, The Gambler, or any book that you like, but not Brothers Karamazov. I genuinely enjoyed this book as any other work by Dostoevsky, which is maybe one of my favorite authors of all time. It's about a young man who lives a very lonely life. He lives in St. Petersburg. He lives in his own mind. He's a daydreamer. So he's wandering the empty streets of St. Petersburg, and he says, in his saying, like, I don't know anyone, but I know everyone. So by that he means he doesn't talk to people, he doesn't meet new people, he doesn't have friends, but because he walks every day through the same streets and in the same places, on the same benches and same parks, he sees the same people over and over. That's why he says, I know everyone, but I don't know anyone. And he even talks about the houses, how they changed. He talks like they're people, like they have feelings, and like he knows the houses. Everything changes in one moment when he meets a girl named Nastenka, with whom over the course of 4 nights they have discussions. They talk about the life, love, and their dreams. The narrator gradually falls in love with her, and she brings him back to the real world, and he starts dreaming of his future. But in the end, things end the way they end. I'm not going to tell you how because I don't want to spoil you the book. White Nights is a short, sad story about loneliness, dreams, and the brief moments of happiness. If you want a psychological portrait of someone that lives in his own thoughts, in his imaginary world, while being so alone, this is the book for you. Some of you may even recognize yourself while reading the book, as I recognize a part of me while reading Dostoevsky's works. And that's the beautiful part about his books, because he's so good in doing this. Like the psychological portrait of people's thoughts and people's mindsets in their sad, busy lives or like lonely lives. Fun fact is that the book is called White Nights because there's a natural phenomenon in St. Petersburg, and in summer the nights are actually bright and there's no complete darkness, which is funny. I didn't know that before reading the book. The sixth book that I'm going to recommend today is Animal Farm by George Orwell. The famous saying of this book is, all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others, and it says a lot. The story of this book is about the animals on a farm that revolt against the owner who exploits them. They drive the farmer out and they decide to run the farm by themselves with the idea that all the animals are equal, and in the beginning they even have rules so that anyone needs to follow the rules. And the pigs, they run the farm, they take control of the farm, which is really funny. The book is an allegory of the revolution and the corruption of power. The story looks like a fable about animals, but it really carries a deeper message about politics and power. The book was written in 1944, but he was refused by a lot of people, so he couldn't publish the book. And he published it 1 year later, finally in 1945, after the Second World War. And they didn't want to publish it because he was criticizing the Soviet Union, which at that time in the war was an ally of Britain. When you finish reading the book, you will realize that it's still just as relevant as it was 80 years ago. It's a good choice to get introduced to his works, and even if this kind of political books doesn't interest you, I still think it's a great book to read, and I think anyone should read this book in their lifetimes. And the last book for today is Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. To be honest, this is my least favorite book on this list, and that's why I put it last, but it doesn't mean that the book is not good. It's just my least favorite. And I think it's because not only the style that it's written, it's calmer, the pace is not very fast, but also one of my first books that I've ever read. So I think I need to read it again, all over again, and maybe I'll change my mind. It is a story of a spiritual journey of a guy in ancient India who tries to find the meaning of life by trying a lot of different things in his life. This guy who lives in India has everything actually, yet he constantly feels that something is missing in his life. And he sets off on an adventure to find the true meaning in his life. So Siddhartha tries different paths in life. He tries ascetic life, he tries wealth and pleasure, he tries love, he tries solitude, but gradually he comes to understand that true wisdom cannot be learned from others. You need to live it, it must be lived personally. Even Buddha is in this book, but Siddhartha refuses to follow him because he wants to embark on his journey alone and wants to follow the truth by himself, not by following others. That's the main message in this book. Seeking means having a goal, and finding means being free, open, without a goal. Siddhartha manages to free himself from desires and seeking, reaching a spiritual fulfillment that even till this day inspires people.